Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 169, coming to you on February 12th, 2020. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hey, Clyde.
Jimmy Trammell.
Hey, guys.
And Michael Aston. And we don't hear you, Mike.
I think you muted yourself.
Unmute your mic, Mike. It's obviously been too long since I've been here. I forgot how to use a microphone. So, hello, everyone.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
It's not bad. You know, it's not bad. It's been a kind of a boring, keep things interesting kind of, there's nothing really interesting going on. No.
Great weather here in February.
Yes, I know. It's interesting that it's February and people are getting 70-degree weathers in some places. Not here.
I'm just bracing because February is typically the coldest month here. It hasn't been terrible by normal standards, but I'm bracing myself because March is always the snowiest month. So when everybody else is like, hey, it's spring, we get like blizzards. And yeah,
define not terrible.
It hasn't been negative 40. The coldest it's been in the last couple weeks is minus 14, and that was like one day. So, like I said, it's not terrible. It's still like 30s, but when it's 30s, I can spend $20 in kerosene and get my garage heated up to 40. When it's minus 14, yeah, that would get me up to like minus 4, and not worth it. So
okay, gotcha.
But yeah, well, we are here. We finally have everybody back together for the first time in a couple months. So
yeah,
why don't we get into this?
Okay, we have a lot of stories to go over this week, so let's start with the first one. Netflix is now offering the new codec for various streams. It is now using what's called the AV1 codec, which is a newer, higher-end codec that is completely royalty-free. And they are using this on certain devices. I believe it's only on a couple of devices out there, but this is being used to provide a 4K HDR video to people with less bandwidth. So, and we will probably be seeing this being added on to additional features in the future.
It's about time. As most people know, this codec was announced back in like 2016, I think. It didn't release until within the last year or two, but it is essentially an open source codec. Hopefully will unify a lot of, because there, all the different codecs out there, you have to pay somebody to use it,
right?
And that's why everything's so fractured. But if I remember right, and somebody can fact check me, I think this was the AV1, not to be confused with AVI. Can
it looks like it.
Compress up to 50% more than normal 264. So yes, exciting. I'm glad finally.
Okay, so this is related to what was VP9, which was that codec being developed by Google, and VP8, which was basically what was pushed up to be a match for H.264, and then VP9 H.265. Which H.265 became an open standard, so no royalties required there, which is a nice thing for most people. So then the next one after that looks like we will have probably competition, and it's good to be first out of the gate, it looks like, or if not first, relatively well used by Netflix for this new codec called AV1, and it does look like the word AVI. I bet you.
That's the thing that it confused me when I first saw it, and that's why I remember this one, is because I kept having to say, oh, it's AV1, not AVI. But I just looked it up. Yeah. So AVI achieved 34%
AV1.
higher than VP9, 46.2% higher than the 264 high profile, and 50% more higher than the 264 main profile.
Oh, come on. So they're never going to say this word out loud. They're going to let people confuse that be AVI because for some weird reason, nostalgia kicks in for people who go, oh, it's an AVI format. I love that format because for whatever reason, they love that format from the 90s. And yeah, people will pick it up. That's exactly their plan. That's why they call it AV1.
Sure. And
Right.
I mean, yeah, and this was a coalition between Google, who else was it? I know it was Google.
Like
And,
AO Media and somebody like that. Yeah.
yeah. So AO Media is the is the what the group is called,
Right.
Alliance for Open Media.
Okay.
But
Good for them.
yeah, I'm glad. I know this is coming to Android phones, and you can set it to default, or you can just let it auto decide if it wants to use this compression.
So is this just about, saving data primarily, or is there
Oh
some
yeah,
other?
this is basically for when you're mobile.
Mhm.
You can watch high definition with less data. So,
On a
and I
handheld?
found it was Google, Mozilla, and Cisco that formed
Well,
this.
and I mean,
Is it-
it's more than just that, right? Like, it's a total decrease in bandwidth of 30%.
Okay.
So
Up to 50%.
you're gonna
Yeah,
benefit. Well, it depends on which codec you're comparing
that's
it
what
to,
I'm
right?
saying. Yeah,
It's 30% over the H.265
VP9.
VP9 codec, right? So, but the benefit, right? Assume my house, I'm running 4 simultaneous 4K HDR streams.
Okay.
That makes a big difference
Mhm.
because I don't have gigabit internet, right? So it will benefit people in more than just the mobile thing. I get bandwidth issues here in my house when I have more than 3 or 4 streams running simultaneously because of that. And usually only one of those is 4K. I'm the only one that watches anything that usually is available in 4K. My kids are watching 1080p stuff and
It
YouTube.
will help anybody that has concerns about bandwidth restrictions in any capacity. And I know right now, I think they're targeting primarily the mobile. I haven't seen anything about them launching this in on the set-top boxes yet. But
Give it time.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
like I said, right now the main target is Android phones
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Google's part of this. So I mean, it would make perfect sense.
Yeah, what I'd like to see these new codecs do, and and I'm looking through here, and I don't see anything referencing it, which I guess that is the high order bit, is that it's a data savings codec, right? But what about, okay, so what if you're hardwired in, or you're on your home, you're not mobile, you're on your home internet service, and would it add more to the fidelity if you've got the
Well,
the-
you
the better
theoretically, the idea is you'll be able to get the same fidelity that you were getting
right?
at much lower data usage.
And I think, I mean, that's where potentially having the auto recommended setting could come into play. If there is an alternative codec that is higher bandwidth, but you have plenty of bandwidth, then it potentially could auto select that higher resolution, higher quality bandwidth codec. But that is, as Clyde's indicating, I mean, that's the advantage of this is you're talking 4K HDR. You're still maintaining full color depth and 4K resolution. So you're not losing a lot, and yet you're still getting a significant improvement. Now, obviously, we know that anytime there's any compression, there is some loss. Otherwise, you don't get compression. So, it's potential that you could go to a more lossless codec and have a better image. But supposedly this is super high quality and
Yep.
still maintains the vast majority of the
It's been in
quality.
development for several years, and
Yeah.
I'm just glad because as someone that's got a household with multiple people streaming content all at the same time,
Mhm.
even though I have a fairly big pipe, there are moments where you can tell, hey, who's doing something because everything just like got interrupted, everything started buffering.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I just got Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, and it took me forever to update that game because multiple gigs of downloads while my kids are all streaming and my wife is streaming, we've got streaming, like the bandwidth is pretty full most of the time. And then I try to download a multi-gig file to do an
And it
update.
says
And
23 days.
yeah, so the idea of anything that reduces bandwidth without compromising significantly on video quality or image quality is gangbusters for me.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Very cool.
It's actually been so long since I first heard about this that I completely forgot about it until I saw this article and I went, finally.
Somebody's using it.
But I mean, and again, aside from that, the great thing about it is it's basically open source or royalty free. So a lot more likely that it'll be widespread as opposed to, people having to pick and choose which codec they want to use. So
Very cool. Hey, speaking of compression, we're going to have to speed things up here to compress the time we're going to use for this because we have a lot of stories to get through. Hey, IMDb has their new IMDb TV streaming service, which we found out that you can get to watch through the Amazon app. So you can watch all of the IMDb TV stuff through that.
yeah,
That will be getting 20 different Disney-owned TV shows into its collection soon. These includes things like Desperate Housewives, My So-Called Life, Malcolm in the Middle, and Lost. So this is going to be their free streaming service with ads. You will be able to watch all these shows as much as you want soon available. It looks like they are going to be available on May 1st.
Yeah. I will say in regards to Malcolm in the Middle, that was my favorite role for Bryan Cranston as the dad. He was my favorite character. And it was super confusing when they started Breaking Bad. And I was like, wait, this silly, happy dude is like scary. But
Yeah.
I've only seen a few episodes of Malcolm in the Middle. They are wonderful shows.
well,
I
now
love
you can
how.
go, now you
well,
can
I
go
know.
back with your family and watch it.
Well, maybe I should go and watch it wherever it is now before the ads come, but that's besides the point. All I got to say is I loved how disorganized that family's house is. It is absolutely a mess, and it makes me feel so good.
Yes.
What makes me also feel good is that HBO Max is coming out with a new production unit. That's right. They are going to be taking some of their funds and making a production unit that will be making 8 to 10 quote-unquote mid-budget films for the year for HBO Max. This will be their plans to continue to provide their idea of high-end content or mid-tier content for their viewers.
I'm curious to see what all they can do with HBO Max, despite being the butt of all the jokes for the last couple of months.
Peacock has been taking over the jokes mostly.
Yeah. But despite
everybody
that,
wants to watch their shows on the cock.
God.
yes.
Okay. Well, we'll have another series to be talking about. Viacom CBS is working together to make another streaming service. Wait a second. Didn't they already have a bunch of streaming services?
Well,
don't they have Bluto?
This, as I mentioned the other day, this is basically going to be CBS All Access with actual All Access.
It's going to be
like
CBS All Access.
All access.
They just need to call it CBS
All
Max.
Access.
CBS Max, and they're good.
Just like AT&T TV.
But I mean, yeah, this sounds actually, I was not interested in CBS All Access. It didn't really have enough stuff that I cared about. But this will be CBS All Access with included Viacom stuff,
Right.
and for less than $10 a month, possibly.
To me, it feels like Philo plus CBS All
I mean,
Access. So
and then
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
Excuse me.
so you get what you should have gotten with CBS All Access for less. It seems like a no-brainer.
yeah.
I mean, what do you get for that?
You want to
mean,
go through
what's-
the list?
No, not really.
No, I mean, it's got like the Viacom properties like Comedy Central, MTV,
Comedy Central, right,
stuff
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, plus other Viacom stuff like back
Nickelodeon.
catalog shows and
And I mean, it'll have some live sports stuff as well, Paramount movies. So it's supposed to be the whole deal.
yeah. And then Viacom also owns Pluto TV, so there's room for integration into that platform. You know, but like I said, if you can get CBS All Access and other stuff for less than you're already paying for CBS All Access, it's a no-brainer. Kind of like Disney Plus, where I've already got Hulu, but for $5 more, I can get all this other stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess sign me up.
Yeah. That would be a good selling point. Yeah.
So.
All right. It looks like Netflix's Twitter account has a reply to one Poodle Puncher Clyde, I hate Netflix's autoplay,
Yep.
saying some people find this feature helpful, others not so much. We've heard the feedback loud and clear. Members can now control whether or not they see autoplay previews on Netflix, and they show you how to turn it off. Yes,
My-
the auto previews have been disabled,
No,
if you wish them to be.
my favorite part here is this where it says Netflix said that although some people inexplicably find the previews useful,
Inexplicably.
it's like, wait a minute, isn't that the point of having this? Is that they are useful? So here's the thing. I actually like the autoplay when I'm in my office by myself, because a lot of times, like the shows it recommends for me tend to be more violent and vampires and supernatural things and stuff. And so if I'm like in the living room with my kids, I don't want those auto playing and being things that are violent or scary. But otherwise, I don't mind them. I often find that there's previews of interesting things that I'm interested in, so I like it.
One thing worth noting is you can't do it if you go to manage profile in your app. The option is not there. You
Not
actually
yet.
have to go to the website, log in, and then you can do it there under manage. And then also it appears it takes some time for that setting to kind of take effect on other platforms.
I've heard people say you have to basically log out and log back in, or
Well,
reboot or something.
My Roku's, it took a couple days, and some people have said it hasn't turned off on the Roku's, so I am on a beta track. I don't know what version of Netflix I have right now, but I can say for a fact on my Roku's, they have stopped. But in the native Windows Netflix app that I use on my desktop, they still play. So there apparently needs to be an update to that version. Android, I don't remember them ever playing, probably for bandwidth restriction, but I don't know. I never use the Android app, so it's hard. Or when I do it, I'm offline, so it's hard to tell.
All right. Hey, if you are a lover of your music and you'd like to get it from Google, YouTube Music is now looking to finally let you upload your own music library up for YouTube Music. This is the same feature that they basically opened Google Music with, where you can have unlimited streaming of your own music clips on there, and then you could and listen to your music as much as you want. When they've been moving people over to the YouTube Music, they've been working on it for a while to get people to move over. I still haven't moved over. one of the big things it was missing was that online library of your own songs. I'm wondering if they're going to make it easy for you to transfer from one account to the other.
I hope so. I hope it's just like when you change your YouTube account from a regular account to a branded account, you just click a couple buttons and then it does all the stuff in the background. I hope it's like that. I mean, they were able to seamlessly join and separate Google Photos from Google Drive a couple times. They brought it in, taken it out. And they're able to do that in the background. So I seriously hope, because I've got a lot of music that because Google's been my music backup for many years since like they first announced it.
Yep.
So
I agree. All right, a little bit of industry news for us. Amazon has picked up the former Hulu CEO, Mike Hopkins, who has been all over the place. Apparently, he's been part of Sony and he's been part of Hulu. He's been picked up by Amazon to help run their streaming business and reports directly to Jeff Bezos.
So this one I don't know, because I'm not really familiar with his name.
No.
And this is one of those things where you look at the resume, coming from Hulu, great. But then you see, oh, but he was here, he was here, he was here, he was here. Why was he all these different places?
He was at Fox, on Hulu, and Sony.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
Oh,
was
you
he
think
just
that
not good at his job, or was he getting poached?
You think it was passing the buck, or okay?
Yeah, I mean, because there's two things. It's either he wasn't great and he had to move on, or he was so good that he kept getting poached. So,
it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like when you review, like he's done some very specific things. Like at Sony, he restructured and streamlined the operations processes for the film unit. So I think, people get good at very specific things, and perhaps he is particularly good at operationalizing or improving operations of this type of an organization. And so he may be the kind of guy you bring in to fix things up and get it straightened out, and then maybe he's going to go somewhere else to do the same thing.
I just hope he brings another season of Bosch.
I just hope he keeps Wheel of Time on Prime moving. And keeps it good.
Every time you mention Wheel of Time, I'm not familiar with the source material, so I immediately jump to the Journey song "Wheel in the Sky." So now that's going to be stuck in my head all day. Thanks.
Well, good. There you go. You got a good song stuck in your head.
That
and
wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
Dream about my future movie, TV show that I'm super excited about.
All right.
There are a lot of excited people for that. So, all right, YouTube is looking to possibly offer some premium channels right on YouTube's website and through the different apps, much like Showtime and other premium channels. They've been apparently working for several months to talk with several different streaming providers about this kind of sign up and sign into their premium service and let you buy those services directly through YouTube's website. And that's interesting that they're not, getting this for YouTube TV, although since it's a lot of rumors here, maybe it's happening for both.
Because who doesn't want to watch Netflix on YouTube?
Well,
I do. Sure, why not?
I mean, it makes sense that they would do it because everybody else is doing it. You may as well get your slice of the pie. Whether or not people want it, I don't know.
Actually, if you put Netflix on YouTube, wouldn't you get like a copyright strike against you? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Signing up for it in YouTube doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, signing up for the thing through Amazon makes sense because they have their own OS. It can be integrated into the Fire ecosystem, right? But I don't go, if I'm on my Roku, I don't want to open up Like, let's say it comes to YouTube TV. I don't want to go into YouTube TV to watch something that I could have just gone directly to Netflix.
I mean, ultimately, it really depends on the way they end up doing this, right? Like if they integrate it into your YouTube homepage with your recommendations and everything like that, that kind of makes sense to me. It's similar to like when I subscribe to HBO to watch Game of Thrones on the Hulu app, or on Amazon, right? The nice thing was that the shows that I was watching surfaced right up on my Amazon, like on my Fire TV, a place that I'm already going to be naturally. It shows things that I'm likely to want to watch, and it makes it easy for me to get to them. So I can see that being beneficial here as well. If YouTube now incorporates some of the shows to where I can directly access those shows or link to those shows from my YouTube homepage, which is a place I am regularly at, then this makes sense. If, on the other hand, I pay for a subscription on YouTube and it puts a link that then takes me to HBO website and then I manage everything from there, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You can subscribe to Showtime on YouTube, but you can't subscribe to Showtime on YouTube TV?
Well, no, they made
Actually,
this
you
announcement,
can.
but it's not clear if it's only on YouTube or both YouTube and YouTube TV. It would make
right
sense.
now,
It would make sense to do it on YouTube TV.
right now
that's-
YouTube TV has very few additional subscription services.
Showtime is one of them. Just happens to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So they already have Showtime, but they don't have like HBO and
No.
most of the others. So
As we discussed last week, this is one area where I am highly in favor of segregation. And to quote The Offspring, you got to keep them separated. All
right,
of my
well-
apps need to be separate, but that's
So-
my own personal preference.
So right now you go to YouTube's website and they have the regular YouTube videos on there. As you scroll down a little bit, you get a line of movies. And those movies are available to rent or buy or free with ads. And I suspect what we're going to see is a new option, subscribe or with your subscription show up.
Yeah.
At which point you will be able to see, oh, it's that movie and it's on, and I'm just going to pick Stars. And you just go ahead and say, and it notices you already have a subscription with Stars, and so free with your subscription. Click and it watches it. Maybe it just watches it straight through the YouTube app, just like you would normally expect. But that it's just all integrated in there. That's what I'm hoping it's like, and I can't wait if that's how it is. If it's not, if it's a link that goes to Stars and you have to sign in, and no, that's the wrong way to do it.
So
All right, Flipboard TV. Oh no, wait a second, I skipped one. Spotify. Spotify Kids is an app that is available in Ireland, not even Scotland. The poor guys, they don't get it. But, well, maybe they'll get it because the UK and Australia are getting it today. This is a kids' version of all the various songs and podcasts available through Spotify, and a nice and easy to use interface. And it has been in Ireland for since October, and they are now releasing it in UK and Australia, and will soon be going for a global rollout. So get ready for Spotify Kids in your area soon.
yeah, this would have been great a couple years ago. My kids are too old for this now.
Ah.
But
Oh, Dinosaurs in Love. Come on, and Baby Shark and all those wonderful. Oh, it's going to be just. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to move on to the next story. I've had enough already, so it's all good. Flipboard TV is a new video service which gives you the news, because that's what Flipboard does. And it looks like they're going to be charging you $3 a month for it. It's right now an exclusive for Galaxy S20 phones, which is a thing. And those guys get it for free for I think 6 months or 3 months. I can't remember what they get it for.
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Flipboard a Twitter tool so that you could view your Twitter feed in a meaningful manner? I think that's how Flipboard started.
I believe Flipboard may have started something like that, but more importantly, it has turned into a how to get your news app.
Okay. Yeah,
And so
I remember the name, and I immediately think Twitter. So I mean,
It originally was like an RSS reader.
Ah,
It was
okay.
RSS feed reader. Yeah.
So yeah,
But-
yeah. If this is what you want, then cool.
$3 a month.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good idea, but I don't know. I can't see too many people signing up for
Well,
this.
for $3 a month, you got a whole bunch of really upper scale news outlets. It looks like 100 publishers have signed up, from Variety to Bloomberg, U.S. Weekly, Rolling Stone, Wall Street Journal. All of those are on there. So
Some of those you just named, you can get for free.
I prefer to
That's
get
true.
all my news secondhand, so
But
it's okay.
but I don't know. I mean, if $3 a month, you get a better quality experience. Maybe they've got something there.
I like to read yesterday's news.
Hmm.
That's what I think. It's all. Everybody's already done with it by that time. It's all over.
Isn't
It's
that
just
called
history.
Isn't that called history?
Yeah, either that or it's like
Wasn't
CNN
yesterday's
because they're behind or
news
something like that.
an album by somebody in the 80s? I want to say Huey
I don't
Lewis,
know.
but that's too far on the nose
They're-
because he was in the news.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll look it up. Microsoft's Project X Cloud. We've been talking a little bit about the fact that they've been trying out little things to get it on. We've been seeing that they've been out for preview on Android for a while now, and they have just stepped their toes into the X Cloud preview for iOS devices. Now, here's the problem: it's very restricted. They're going to make it only available with a single game, the Halo Collection, Master Chief Collection, and it's only limited to 10,000 people. Most people are saying this is due to the limitations of how the Apple does their test flight betas, and so there are limits on what they could do. And also apparently there's rules in there about what kind of content can go into these services that they have to agree upon, which is why only Halo is the one going to be available at this time.
So if you were one of the 10,000 people that have been desperately waiting for Halo on your iOS device, congratulations, there's room for you in the beta.
Right. But, knowing Halo people, it's probably already all those 10,000 people have already signed up by now, so it's too late. Never mind. Hey, Activision Blizzard has pulled its games from GeForce Now. I don't remember if we talked about. Yes, we did talk about GeForce
We
Now
talked
last
about
week.
GeForce Now last week. Right?
GeForce Now is a platform where you can, for free, play for about an hour, or for $5 a month now. They did say the price would go up, but $5 a month, you can play for up to 6 hours at a time, using any game that was installable using one of their interfaces. And there was a bunch of them out there, and so you could get a Steam game.
As long as you own it, you can play it, basically.
Exactly. And a couple games also that you didn't have to own if you had signed up for the service. There were other ones on there as well.
Mhm.
And it left beta. And I tried this, and I played World of Warcraft with it last week, and I had a horrible experience because apparently my internet sucks. I don't know. The gigabit is not enough. I don't know. Anyways, the NVIDIA has had to let people know that Amazon and Activision and not Amazon, Activision Blizzard has requested they pull their games from it, and there's some rumors on why that's the case.
And it's probably because other people are having the same experience you were, and they don't want their games being tarnished by that reputation.
So that's actually probably not true. Actually, the rumor is it's Google Stadia. Because Amazon, I keep saying Amazon, Activision has a multi-year agreement with Google to provide streaming of their games, and it's also possible that when Google Stadia has, they've been working on making it so they can be the streaming service of somebody else's needs. It's possible that Activision Blizzard is going to do this with Google Stadia, and so that's why they can do it.
I mean, that would make sense. And I mean, GeForce Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, is a direct competitor to Stadia. But it's the one that's been in beta for like 6 years. And it's finally, that was the big news like a week ago, is it's finally out of beta. But yeah. I'm not surprised to see Blizzard pull their content, because that seems like a Blizzard thing to do, because they have agreements, like you said. They have established history of allowing or not allowing their stuff on certain stuff. So
actually, a couple of years ago, I would say that's not Blizzard. Not at all. Not the kind of Blizzard they would be. But in the last couple of years, maybe it has, because they kind of, I was a person who, when Activision bought Blizzard or Blizzard bought Activision or they merged or whatever hell happened there, I was like, it's okay. Blizzard will still be Blizzard. But the truth is things have changed, and it's possible something has happened here. And the big change to me is Blizzard isn't in front of this and saying, yes, we pulled back because of something we can't tell you yet because we have agreements, but we will love to tell you in the future. I mean, just saying that would be, we'd love to be able to tell you more, but we can't. We will be able to tell you in the future of our
yeah,
future
Blizzard has gotten in trouble in the last couple of years about saying too much, and they've kind of pulled that back and started being like, hey, being very careful about what they say and when they say it. They've kind of had their foot in their mouth a couple times. So, yeah, and like I said, no judgment against. I'm not surprised that this is happening, and I don't think it's anything nefarious, but it could be.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I'm excited to see how the streaming services will shake out. This is interesting to me, so I hope you guys find it interesting too.
Yes.
All right, Sony has a new speaker for your TV.
Yes.
Or it's also
is it a soundbar?
And on top of that, they have a new remote for your TV too. It's very nice.
Does it work with the soundbar?
It does work with the soundbar. In fact, it is so integrated with that soundbar, you can't separate them. But Sony has this new TV remote that is designed for you to. This thing is chunky. It's huge. It's like a gigantic loaf of bread. It looks like a loaf of bread.
It's a Bluetooth speaker with controls built into it.
The idea behind this is that you could be watching your TV show, and then you decide you need to get up for whatever reason, and you want to continue listening to the show while it's still going on. You can pick it up and take it with you and still be able to listen to see what's going on. That sports game that you can still listen to it.
Sony.
Oh, no, this is amazing. I love this idea. I think it's kind of weird to put the remote with it, but it's awesome.
The Bluetooth speaker integration, yes. I think that is cool. Integrating the remote into it like that, I think is where this falls apart. Especially since it's not included with the TV. This costs an additional $182.
Yeah. This is an insane idea at an insane price, and only insane people are going to buy it.
It looks a lot like, not Harman Kardon. There was another high-end audio company back in like the 80s. They always did like super futuristic stuff. They had a controller that you put on your coffee table for your stereo that looked a lot like that. It didn't have a speaker. It's like, I see this and it's like, oh.
Well, at least they got a handle on it.
Whole thing's a handle.
And you can still, and they even advertise, well, you can even control the TV from another room.
Right. You need to pause,
Well, I mean, you know what this is for, right? It's got a handle on it. A bathroom break. You take it to the bathroom with you, right? And you set it up on the sink while you're taking care of business.
When I first heard about this, I
you don't miss the game or have to pause it.
Exactly right.
The bathroom.
Exactly right.
When I saw the headline, the new TV remote doubles as a portable speaker, I was thinking of, Roku already does this, where they've got the headphone jack. You plug your headphones in, and then you've got wireless listening to your TV. At least that you can put in your pocket.
I do something. Go ahead.
I feel like they've, after hearing what Jimmy said, my thing is they just didn't go far enough. They needed a 2-inch or a 4-inch screen on it too, so that when you go to the bathroom, you've got the video as well.
So you want,
and it would detect when you pick it up. It would auto turn on the video, or there'd be a button where you could turn on the video and it would stream the video.
The Sony Switch
now
TV.
It makes sense. It just didn't go far enough. They weren't crazy enough.
This makes sense as two separate things. You know, if you want a remote that gives you remote listening capability and the ability to connect to a Bluetooth speaker separately, that makes sense to me. This require, I mean, where would I put this? I don't have a coffee table in my living room. I don't have any end tables. I
Would it
have
be
no
better
place
if
to
they
put
put-
this thing.
Where do you put your remote?
It sits on the couch next to me.
Okay, well, this would sit on the couch
Yeah,
next to you.
no, that thing would take up like half the couch.
Would it be better if they built in like a built-in toilet paper holder or something?
Oh, I'm not taking that thing in the bathroom. That thing, it goes in the bathroom once, it stays in the bathroom forever unclean. That thing's got crevices, and yeah, you're never gonna get that stuff out of there.
I think this is an awesome idea. I don't know if it's a good implementation of it yet. We'll see what
I mean,
happens.
Thanks,
Like,
Jimmy. You almost killed me.
Give us the ability to add like a $50 to $100 Bluetooth speaker, and then just leave the remote off of it.
So I have the auxiliary out, like the Toslink out to the dual Bluetooth sender, so I can do 2 Bluetooth headphones, and so I can listen, and maybe me and somebody else can listen to the big TV without destroying everybody else's ears and trying to watch something with big blue explosions and things like that when people are sleeping. And I love it. It's great. And so I have been watching a show, and with my Bluetooth speakers, gotten up and gone to the kitchen and still listen to the show. It's great. I actually love this idea. So
If
we'll see how it works.
If you're using a Roku, you can even do that through your phone using the Roku app, which is what I do, because plugging headphones into the remote drains those batteries. So
it also turns off the speakers on your.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. We have one more story. The Galaxy Home Mini. Remember when that was first announced 2 years ago with the Note 9? That's right. That little kind of a competitor to the Amazon Echo and the Google Home is finally coming out if you live in Korea and you order a Galaxy S20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now it'll probably get wide release. It's just kind of like when Google did the Google Home, where you could get the pre-order if you bought it with a specific Android phone, before it, like 6 months before it was available in stores.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean,
this thing's got Bixby. It's broken.
I was going to say, the reason they're doing this is because they've poured a ton of money into Bixby, and they can't get anybody to use the feature on their stupid Samsung phones. So they're like, well, if we give them a smart speaker that then encourages them to use it, maybe they'll use it. Like, it's the most annoying feature on my phone. I have a stupid button that opens Bixby. I can't do anything else with it. It's like, what the crud were you thinking? I hate it when I accidentally bump that button and it says, please accept the terms of service. And I have to go, no, I'm not opening this. It was an accident.
Normally we would caution you against using the activation word so loosely, but nobody's using Bixby.
That one guy out there isn't watching our podcast, so it's okay.
So I think there's a missed opportunity here by Samsung. So obviously, there's already the 3 major voice assistants out there, and I'm not even talking about Cortana.
Nobody's talking about Cortana.
I know, poor Cortana. she's alone in the corner, weeping so quietly.
No, she's just completely disabled.
Oh, okay. But
I mean, there's more people talking about Cortana than there are talking about Bixby, though.
Yeah, but they're talking about the Cortana in Halo.
Right. And so here's the thing. So all 3 of the assistants or 4 of the assistants out there so far were trying to be nice and kind and be good to you. Unless you install the Samuel L. Jackson app version on your Echo. They should have just had Bixby be that British proper kind of, sour kind of, gruff kind of answering person, and basically an assistant with attitude, And that would have been a selling point because it says funny things. It says things in a weird, funny way. It would have been a differentiator enough that maybe they would have gotten some.
So what you're saying is they needed to get old, cranky Ian McClellan to voice.
That would have been great.
I mean,
Bixby.
You're right. I may have at least tried Bixby instead of just constantly refused to even accept the terms to open it, right?
Well,
It wouldn't have been great if you hit that button and it says, "Yeah, you rang," or something like that.
The problem
Just
is
some like
the
just
CES
dripping with-
demonstration like 2 or 3 years ago where it was on rails and it didn't even work.
right.
Yes.
Made me immediately just go, nope, I'm not interested. If it doesn't even work when it's on rails,
Right.
I've got no interest.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, other than that CES experience, I can't say anything, even though I have had Samsung phones for years, because I've always refused to use it. But
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, everybody does. So it's okay.
Yeah, the only Bixby I ever knew was Bill Bixby.
This one doesn't Hulk out though.
Hmm.
Hopefully.
Nobody's used it to find out, so it's no big deal.
So are they gonna put out a green version that's voiced by Lou Ferrigno?
Don't know. Would that work? I don't know. And well, that was the news for this week, guys. I'm glad we got through it.
And the reason we got through it is because of those amazing people that support our show every month. Those patrons that see some sort of value in whatever we do,
Yeah.
whatever you call this. But you know they're always here.
Those
And we
delusional
appreciate them.
people, we appreciate you
Absolutely.
very much. Very much so.
If you're not currently a patron and you see some sort of value in what we do every week, why don't you consider throwing us a buck? We'd appreciate it, and then you'll be included the next time we thank the patrons.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, let's quick get over to movie draft. Check in on the movie draft so that we can revel in the fact that 2 days left and I'm still in first place. Which is why there's only me on the screen right now.
None of the rest of us matter. Hey, I think it's possible you might win this in the next by Friday. So
He's only like 10 million behind me, but I don't think they're gonna squeak. Oh yeah, about 10 million.
Game night would have to continue making money with Jumanji, and I think it's out of money.
I
Jumanji,
still think they have they have the chance to take over second place because there's like less than 3 million difference, or
BS
right around
would
3
BS.
million, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back to this. But
this is an impressive round. I mean, the first place and the fourth place are less than 6% apart, right? Like,
Yeah.
this was a really tight race this year. I think it was nicely evenly distributed. We've all learned, at least we've very much learned from our mistakes last time, and we ended up picking at least one good one, a couple of good ones that balance actually succeeded and turned out to be okay. I gotta say, it is too late for game night to make it, but I
No.
did go see Jumanji this last week, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as the first one, but still extremely funny and quite enjoyable.
I was hoping that you guys would get an influx of money once Parasite swept the Oscars.
Yeah, I was hoping that we'd be like they re-release it, and people were like, really,
Yeah.
Parasite? I never saw that. It didn't come to my theater, and it's like we'd make $30 million, and that $30 million just would happen to push us over the top.
Yeah. At this point, that's about what, if we got 40 million, we would have
We'd
done
win.
doubled its numbers.
I will say, compared to my performance last winter, I am pleasantly surprised by even the crap movie that I picked. 2 crap movies I picked up, Playing with Fire and Bombshell. Between
did
the
okay.
3 not Frozen movies, they averaged about 30 million each, which is decent for,
It's not bad. It's what you need.
Yeah, I didn't have a Jexy or a Playmobil at all.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Hey, but
Oy.
at least Jexy made money. Not like
Yes.
Playmobil.
$6 million. I know
Hey,
Playmobil only won.
6
That's really
million's
sad.
better than 1.
It's true. Still.
Playmobil
Pisses
is
me
still
off.
at $1,115,008.
Yeah.
Matt, how much did Cats make?
5.
27 million.
It did okay.
I was expecting it to make 50 to 60. It made half that.
You wanted an extra 0. You wanted to do 270.
Well, no, but also I came to realization. I said this in the Discord that I basically blocked. I think BS with BNS.
No. Yeah, no. I was just saying you would have been happy if there had been another 0. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying you expected it. It was an interesting thought of that fact that I basically stepped in just about the last second and I picked up Cats before BS with BNS picked it up. That would have been enough for them to possibly win this game. Yeah.
So it would easily be enough, with that 27 million. So, and we discussed this further, a whole bunch of little things could have changed for it to happen, but every little tiny vote counted in this.
And that's why if you look at the difference between the Red League and the Blue League, it's completely wildly different.
Good job, DKG.
We were pretty closely matched. Everybody in the Red League picked well, whereas it's far more spread out, that money.
I watched that stream, and poor Snowshoe.
Yeah,
she picked movies that she loved, not movies that did well, except for Knives Out. That's the only one she got.
But she did get Parasite. Unfortunately, it didn't. And I will give her credit. She picked the 2
Jojo Rabbit.
I guess she picked the 3 best movies of 2019. Parasite, which the Academy loved. Jojo Rabbit, that everybody should love. And Knives Out, which was a commercial failure. I mean, not failure. It was a commercial success. I chose the wrong word.
I thought you were going to say Cats.
She also picked Cats.
But yeah, they didn't do a good job of keeping. Well, I guess RMP didn't do. Never mind. They did a good job of keeping good movies away from RMP. Because they got Jexy and Bombshell to go with Star Wars. So, yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, should we move along to a little bit to rants and raves? Alrighty. So, who's got stuff to rant or to rave or to just quit?
I got a bunch of things that I would love to talk about. Just a lot of little things. First of all, I only really watched one thing this past week, and it was I was online, and it was actually it had you in it, Clyde. I had to say.
Wait, was it like a horror movie?
Actually, it was a bit of a horror movie when you cut that headliner out of it.
It was a train wreck, right?
No, I'm talking about Clyde's own YouTube channel he started, where he's putting together his $200 hard body of his Nissan truck.
Don't spoil what was in there.
I won't. Oh no! But it was a horror show.
Hey, yes. I thought you were talking about something else from this week. So.
What else? I don't know anything else that you did this week. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
I thought you were talking about the special guest on one of my favorite podcasts.
Formerly favorite podcast.
The one that brought us all together, Cord Killers.
Whatever. That doesn't matter. Whatever. Who cares? That's no big deal.
Clyde was the guest this week.
Good job, Clyde.
Nice. How did you score that?
I didn't even see that yet. I gotta watch.
We spoiled
you definitely
it for
gotta watch it.
See, Jimmy, if you'd been here for the last couple of weeks, you'd know that. I was going to be there.
See, I wasn't here. I just happened to watch it and was like, oh, wait, who's that guy?
I've gotten a few texts from people that I know in real life that went, what are you doing on?
Taking over slowly.
Absolutely.
Soon it will be mine. That's what.
See,
these
I mean,
guys
that's how
trying
the
to take
movie
over the
party
world.
meetup in Indiana works. Is you infiltrate, and that's just kind of how I do. So
Yeah. Well, I honestly haven't finished it. I'm about halfway through it, but the part that I watched was really good. So
right.
great
Well,
job.
you're further along into it than I am. It's one episode that'll probably never get viewed in mine. But
Yeah.
what was the rest of your stuff, Matt?
So other than that, I've been doing my project of taking. We've had these large desks downstairs where all three of our computers are. We made these smaller desks out of IKEA stuff to make it all built into the wall. And part of that project is making all of our computers, which are normally these giant ATX towers, into smaller ones, so they just basically disappear. And so I did my wife's ones already, and now I'm starting to work on my little machine, my little mini ITX machine, and I've been really having fun taking these machines and trying to make them to the little.
So you're doing them all mini ITX?
So my wife's is the little Radian Tech guy. That little tiny thing was able to fit everything in there. That was, please, if anybody does that, get yourself get yourself a modular power supply. It helps a ton. Then I got the SG13 from Silverstone. I've got that one that's going to go nice and quiet behind my monitor, and we'll see what happens to my son's one later.
Yeah. See, I'm always worried about I like the idea of mini ITX, but cooling. I have learned the benefits of the all-in-one radiators, and they don't make them small enough for those ITX buttons.
You would actually be surprised. This can take 120 rad in the front. Both of them can do 120 rads now. So
cool.
I actually prefer air. I've never really done any water cooling, but ever since they've come out with the all-in-ones, I've been like curious about doing them. But then I look at the prices, and they're ridiculously priced.
No,
generally.
the Cooler Master one is like $70. That's
expensive.
That's why I'm using it. But
cheaper than your $10
right now,
fan, right?
my computer is working hard to bring you guys in and push the stream out. My CPU is sitting at about 20 C.
Right, and a good air cooler can give you basically the same.
I mean, when I had good air coolers, I would be at like 30 plus.
Right.
So, and that's like I said, right now while it's working hard, when my computer's idle, it's down, 15.
My next one is the SG13 requires a small air cooler, and so I had to go Noctua. So we're gonna see if we can make that be quiet and effective. And last but not least, tomorrow I'm getting a MIDI keyboard. I went ahead and decided on the launch key, the Novation Launch Key 49. Because I'm going to start playing around with making some MIDI music, and I hope that I really love it, and hope I can get my son doing some, and I got ideas, and I want to see if I can do some of that stuff. So that's
nice.
me.
Word. Jimmy?
Yeah, so Hulu just recently went up on their rates again.
Yep.
And I've got the Hulu Live, right? And after tax and everything, I'm paying about $69 a month now for that service, right? So I think what I want to do now is start, shopping around and see if I can find, a little bit better deal, or at least see what else is out there.
Call up AT&T and say, hey, what can you do for me?
Yeah, but see, I don't have regular television service, right? And I don't know if I'd want to do that with them, but I'm going to go out there and look at some of the ones that we, early on when we first started this podcast, look at and see what they're offering now. Maybe try, 2 or 3 different free trials or something like that, and see if I see something that appeals to me. And I may just stay with Hulu. I don't know. Yeah. But I think at right now I just want to at least just test the market and see what else is out
If
there.
you need sports at all, Fubo right now is the one that is being recommended as an alternative to YouTube TV if you're forced to, for people that are forced off of PlayStation View.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
it might go there first.
Yeah, well, that's one that I'm thinking about. I'm also thinking about YouTube TV, right?
YouTube TV is still going to get you in that $50 to $60 a month.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So it'd be the same
It's-
price, right?
It's
Starts
pretty
at 50.
steep.
But it will get you
Locals and pretty much everything.
yeah, you can get some locals, you can get YouTube premium stuff as well, and potentially ad free on YouTube. So
Oh, that would be the question. Do you get ad-free YouTube if you get YouTube TV?
I
do.
never see ads on YouTube, so
Me neither.
I would say
Okay.
yes.
All right, well, so that would be a plus. At least
But
you get
I
that, right?
also don't know if it's because I run an ad blocker, because you remember like a couple weeks ago I was playing something on YouTube and I kept getting ads and I was like, where did these come from? And I realized, oh, I don't have an ad blocker turned on that
Yeah.
browser. So
No, you do get the free. The trick is if you're already paying for YouTube Premium,
Mhm.
you have to cancel that. Even though you get it free with YouTube TV, they will still charge you for both, even when you sign up on the same account. Believe me, I know this because about 6 months in, I realized, crap, I've been paying for both, and I could have gotten one. I didn't need to pay that $10 a month.
I remember why I was seeing ads. It's because I watch YouTube using my branded account, but I can't sign into YouTube TV with the branded account. It has to be your main account, which I don't have a YouTube profile for. So
It looks like
that's why.
It looks like you do not get YouTube Premium with YouTube TV. That's actually not true.
Well, you get the premium
YouTube,
content, is what I'm saying, because I
You do
watch.
get the premium-
That's where I watch the premium content. That's what I was talking about.
You do get the premium content, and you can watch it through the YouTube TV app without any ads. So yes, you can do that. But if you YouTube Premium for regular YouTube without ads, you don't get that. I do get YouTube Premium for free because I also pay for YouTube Music. Those two are intertwined.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, one thing else is I didn't start a free trial or anything, but I did check out the DC Universe.
oh yeah, what'd you think?
What shows were you watching?
Just looking at. Well, I mean, I didn't start a free trial, but I was just looking at what all they offer. I downloaded the app, and all that kind of thing, and yeah, I mean, it looked pretty good. The one thing I was looking for, and Clyde, you may have told me this, but I was a little surprised to see that the old Batman series with Adam West was not on there.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily. That's one of those things that it's probably tied up in previous agreements.
Mhm.
At some point, those agreements will probably they'll probably run out. But then again, DC didn't really have anything to do with the creation of that show.
No.
So they may not even own. They just signed away they may have signed away the rights to that version altogether. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so the other stuff that's on there, there's some
Yeah.
stuff worth watching.
Yeah, I wish you could get the Adam West Batman series in there, and then also, even though it was only on a season or two, the Green Hornet as well. Too.
And
Back then.
and like the service is still new. There's chance that you may get that at some point.
It looks like the movie Batman from 1966 is available for rent, or no, it's not. It's not for streaming.
That's still my favorite.
How about the Green Hornet? Is that available anywhere?
I don't know. I'll have to find out.
The Green Hornet, the original TV show, starred Bruce Lee.
Mhm.
If you didn't know that.
I did know that. It is no, that's the movie that they made.
Yeah, I was
came
going
out
to
in
say
2000s.
not the movie from 2011
Yeah,
with Seth Rogen.
and Jet Li. Flicks Fling, Season 1.
That doesn't.
Never,
that place sounds
never heard
sketchy.
of Fling.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Fling.
That sounds like one of those sketchy sites.
That's what Just Watch says. You can watch it on Fling, whatever that is. So,
Explain.
Fling. Okay, that's here. All right.
All right.
All right,
Uh,
Mike.
So I don't remember if I have been on since I finished watching The Witcher. I don't believe so.
I don't think
no.
so.
I'm sure. Has anybody else talked about how absolutely freaking amazing The Witcher is?
No, actually, I'd love to hear what you think.
I only talked about how confusing it was to me for
Yeah,
the first 3/4 because I'm not familiar with anything The Witcher related.
Yeah, that's right. We did talk briefly about it. I've finished it. I don't, like I said, I'm not positive that I did or did not get to the end of it before, but I think I did because I absolutely loved it. And I said it was frustrating because it felt like it had just started and it needed a new season. So anyways, that said, still absolutely love The Witcher and want to watch more of it.
Yeah.
I did go, as I mentioned earlier, I went and saw Jumanji Next Level. It was really good. You should go see it. And go see it in the next 2 days and maybe bump Clyde out of the top.
Yeah.
No.
Assuming you go see it roughly 1 million times.
Word.
Yeah, somehow I don't think that'll work.
So I'm just gonna carry over what I talked about on Monday. Show that I've been watching and I can't stop watching is called it's called Toast of London. I highly recommend everybody watch it. It's on Netflix. It's Matt Berry show. I think it's from like 2013. But it is hilarious. Some episodes are just like stupidly funny. Some of them are okay. But it's British and there are some guest appearances and references that you may not get how funny it was because you're not British. There's a couple things I had to look up and then I went, oh, that was clever. But otherwise, I mean, it's great. I can't recommend it enough. So
Very cool.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. We can probably go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let everybody get back to their Night Attack viewing.
No.
And I appreciate everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We do this every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, here on Twitch. Come join us live sometime if you are watching this after the fact. Everyone that participates in the chat live gets to correct us and yell at us and provide show titles, which we are going to vote on here in the post show. So if you're watching, stick around. Head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. Vote for everything that you like, and we will choose those here shortly in the post show. So, thank you guys for joining me, and we will see all of you again next week.
Excellent.
Laters.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.